Welcome to the ServiceNow's part on YouTube, go-to destination for all things ServiceNow. Whether you are a seasoned IT professional or just diving into the world of enterprise solutions, we have got you covered.
Welcome back everyone to this session. On this session, we'll be covering about the ServiceNow workspaces. What I'm going to cover is very important. Specifically, we have said that ServiceNow Vulnerability Response Management, it's really important to help you efficiently and also effectively manage your vulnerabilities. Now, how? Some of you might ask it how, and can you show us? Yes, absolutely. The first person is the vulnerability analyst, and the second one is the remediation owners. Okay. Now, in general, ServiceNow workspace, specifically vulnerability response workspace, it's really important for you to monitor, decide, and also fix any security holes that you might find on your environments. Okay. Now, there are two personas: the vulnerability analyst and the remediation owner. The vulnerability analyst, identification of the vulnerabilities. Not only that, this responsible for identifying, analyzing the vulnerabilities, okay, on the environment. That is the vulnerability analyst. The first workspace that we're going to cover is the Vulnerability Manager Workspace. This workspace is really designed for vulnerability analysts. These are the security teams, right? They are really using Vulnerability Manager Workspace to really monitor the vulnerabilities. What are the vulnerabilities in my environment? Okay, monitoring those vulnerabilities, their severity and so on. They're gonna monitor that. Not only that, these different threats, but also planning any remediation efforts. Okay, remediation efforts, what need to be taken and how to address some of the vulnerabilities. That all can be planned and decide using the Vulnerability Manager Workspace. Another is to create a remediation task. Now, the way we're going to remediate vulnerabilities in ServiceNow is a remediation task. So one remediation task could contain one or more vulnerable items. That remediation task will contain multiple vulnerable items. Now, as you remediate one vulnerability out of these, it will go ahead and fix everything, because those vulnerabilities share the common things, which is they are found on the same configuration item or the CI. So it is that workspace really helpful for you to create a remediation task. By the way, the automation of ServiceNow, what's going to happen is you can automatically generate the remediation task for those vulnerable items. But in case you need to create a remediation task, yes, you can definitely create a new one. And sharing progress with your senior leadership is also very easy using the Vulnerability Manager Workspace. So you can share any status to the leadership and also any effort that you have with the remediating the vulnerability. So take a look at this workspace. It's really cool. How can the Vulnerability Manager Workspace really enable the security analyst to go ahead and identify the vulnerabilities and also visualize them? Yes, it is really help them to visually analyze features like, for example, wash topic. Okay, using the wash topic that help them to focus on the most critical issues that are found in your environment. Okay, that's how it's helped using the wash topic. It also can create recurring tasks. They can create a recurring tasks for the vulnerabilities that require any ongoing attention. Okay, any ongoing attention, ensuring nothing skips through the cracks. So that is the best thing here when it comes to managing those vulnerabilities using the workspace. Vulnerability Analyst Workspace with exposure assessment. Now, this workspace is really also important because it's a tool essential for performing thorough exposure assessment of potential vulnerable configuration items and also CIs. That is one of them. Help you to create and also schedule exposure assessments if you want to do that. Not only that, you can continually monitor the vulnerabilities as well. And manually, you can enter of any vulnerable items in case that is need to be done as well. To use this workspace effectively, you should go ahead and integrate NVD and also CISA. NVD is National Vulnerability Database. You have to integrate with that one, and also with CISA, which is the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. That integration must be done.
Now let me quickly show you within the ServiceNow environment how the Vulnerability Manager's Workspace looks like. So I logged in here to the instance. So the next thing I would do is I just zoomed in it so that it can be visible more. You see that there is a workspace, okay, menu. Then under that, you'll go ahead and scroll down, Vulnerability Manager Workspace. So upon clicking that, it will take me to this workspace, okay. Now, if you really notice on the URL, okay, it's a VR-analyst. So this is mainly for the vulnerability analyst. So on the URL, you will be able to see that. So it is a vulnerability analyst workspace, okay. Now there are two things here under overview: the host vulnerability and also application vulnerability. The application vulnerability, that's something we can cover in another session in detail. We mainly talk about the host vulnerabilities like related to CIs and so on. So we're not talking about any application vulnerabilities and so on. So that's another topic that we're going to cover. Now in this workspace, as you logged in, you have this on the left side, you have the home button, okay, which is the watch topic. You have the watch topic, and also, yeah, that's the home, and you have the watch topic right here. That's really cool. And also the exposure assessments, and also the list where we have a list of different things, so easily you can go ahead and navigate through that. The list is really cool as well. Now let's take a look at the home in a little bit detail. What you have right here is, again, it's defaulted to the host vulnerability, and you can view vulnerabilities that are due within the past 90 days, or decommissioned, unassigned, ungrouped, missed, darked, multiple deferred. So these are all the filters that are created for you. And then I have that for 128 vulnerabilities. Okay, now here is cool things. Okay, your vulnerabilities, among those vulnerabilities by assignment group and remediation status, you can see that majority of them are empty. And I have also the sysid is just because I don't have the group in my system. Okay, so you have by color coded, the target missed. And let's take a look at by state. I have that many open vulnerabilities, okay, by state, awaiting implementation, under investigation currently, and also in review, that many. Okay, you also have by risk, okay, small kind of report by risk right here, medium, and one critical. Okay, so if you scroll further down, you'll see that vulnerability in remediation task with existing exploit. Okay, yes or no, that's really important as well. If that vulnerability has an existing exploit, if it has or not, that it really determine the you can use this, if there is an exploit or not, to determine the severity of that vulnerability. Okay, the risk score, external facing or not, the CI. Okay, by CI classification, Windows servers, they contain majority of the vulnerability, by cloud resource, and so on. If there are any deferred vulnerability, okay, by deferred reasons, so you'll have that one as well. So this is in general the overview of vulnerability under the Vulnerability Analyst workspace. Now let me show you the watch topic. Okay, it's gonna load in here. I don't have a lot of watch topics here, but it's going to give you a little bit of example here. So one of the watch topics we are looking here is the host vulnerability. Under host vulnerability, we have right here also vulnerability on external facing, and so on. So these are some of the watch topics that you can go ahead and look your vulnerabilities. Okay, all right. So within this workspace, there is exposure assessment you can do, and for that, like I mentioned on earlier on exposure assessment, you should definitely need to have integrated this instance. Okay, the instance that you have with CVE, right, and also NIST. Okay, those are really it's going to give you more assessments on your. Okay, since I don't have that integration yet on this system, which I'm going to cover on another session, then we'll take a look at that in detail. Okay, now we're going to move on to the list view here, right here. The list view, you'll see that I have list remediation efforts that are active, and also all. You can take a look at everything that is active and also all. And again, these are a very quick out of the box lists that are created already. Remediation task, active and all. So I'm going to then close up those host vulnerable items right here, and application vulnerable items that we're going to cover in another session. But you have that modules right there. You can hide them if your team is not currently using them. Okay, these are the libraries. Okay, for especially you can use them for exposure assessment. The CVEs and then Common Vulnerability Index, and the TPE, CWE, application vulnerability, and compensating controls. Okay, those are some of the libraries you can have.
All right, you can create your own list from this as well. What you need to do is under here, my list. So these are the lists that I created for myself, assigned to me. Okay, it's a copy. So I copied the assigned to me for myself and I created that one. So that's definitely very good. You can, your teams, you can teach them how to create. It's very simple and easy, clicking add a new list. And from there, you can use an existing one to go ahead and create your own list. Now, let me take you to one of the remediation efforts right here, and you can take a look at what it looks like under this workspace. Okay, this critical overdue vulnerability, risk rating 5 none. It's active is true. You have the overview here, the description of the vulnerability, and where the category is. We don't have that much CI here. Let's take a look at the details. Okay, that's RE is the remediation effort. Don't have much detail for this one. The remediation task that is tied to this one is I have it right here. Let's see how many I have. 20. Okay, I have four. Okay, I have 4 remediation tasks and vulnerable item. Currently I don't have any vulnerable item. Okay, so that's pretty much cover the demo of Vulnerability Analyst Workspace. Okay, this is Vulnerability Manager Workspace, primarily for the Vulnerability Analyst. Again, the Vulnerability Analyst or the security team, they are using this workspace to go ahead and identify vulnerabilities, prioritize vulnerabilities, and making sure, prioritizing and all that can be done here. So in general, the ServiceNow Vulnerability Response module comes with a bunch of tools that can help not only the security teams, but also the operations team to go ahead and identify and also remediate vulnerabilities effectively and efficiently. Okay, that concludes today's session, and I'll see you on the next one. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, have a great day, everybody.
Go to destination for all things ServiceNow. Whether you are a seasoned IT professional or just diving into the world of enterprise solutions, we have got you covered. From tutorials and tips to the latest updates and innovations, join us on this journey to master ServiceNow. Don't forget to hit subscribe, ring the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest content. Let's unlock the full potential of ServiceNow together. Welcome to the ServiceNow store, where excellence meets innovation. Thank you for watching, and thank you for joining us. See you next time.